Hello and welcome to the Pinpoint Your Peak Purpose portion of the Dare to Be Vital course. My name is Dr. Allan Mishra, and this is the introduction to the Pinpoint Your Peak Purpose portion of the course. Let's start off with a little quote from my favorite movie, The Shawshank Redemption, and that is, get busy living or get busy dying. Get busy living or get busy dying. All right? Let me start out this module with a story that comes from the pandemic. And this is a picture on the left here of the Stanford Dish hike. And the Stanford Dish is a radio telescope that exists on the outskirts of campus, above the campus basically. And it's still a functional radio telescope. But there's a hike, a pathway that goes in and around the dish. It's either somewhere between 3 and 5 miles, depending on where you go and where you start. But during the pandemic, is one of the few options we had for exercise. And so I would go out there 2-3 times per week and take either a 3 or up to a 4 or 5 mile hike. And on this particular day, it was spectacular. The puffy white clouds you see there were just on the horizon. The air quality was unbelievable because nobody was really driving around much. And I got up to the top of the dish hike, and I wandered around the back, and I didn't have my phone with me, and I was just kind of thinking, and really just, it was a very odd time, right? This is somewhere in the spring or early summer of 2020. And then something hit me like a lightning bolt. It hit me like a lightning bolt that purpose can lift us out of despair. Because there was a lot of despair. There's a lot of people obviously dying at that time. We hadn't figured out much about the virus. And I came back from that hike really energized. And I came back energized because I realized that purpose could help us. And at that time, I thought it was an original thought. It turns out it's not really an original thought, and we're going to get into that in a second here. But identifying your purpose in life is a complex journey. It's a complex personal journey. It takes time, it takes reflection, and it takes experimentation. It can be a lifelong process. But what I want to suggest to you is that your purpose is your most important modifiable vitality asset. We've talked about time being your most precious non-renewable vitality asset, but guess what? Your purpose is your most important modifiable vitality asset. And it's the foundation of your both personal and professional well-being or vitality. Let me explain a little bit more as we go through this introduction to the Pinpoint Your Peak Purpose module portion of the Dare to Be Vital course. Finding your purpose is really challenging. I'm not here to shame people for not knowing their purpose. The opposite. I'm trying to challenge people. And here's another quick story. This is the Hillary step at the top of Mount Everest. And when Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay got here, obviously there weren't ropes as you see in the picture here, but they tried to figure out how are we going to climb this vertical wall of ice and rock. And it turns out, at least according to the story, that Sir Edmund Hillary decided to go up horizontally. He put his crampons in the snow, put his hands on the frozen rock, and he kick-stepped himself up vertically to get to the top. Now remember, you're at like 29,000 feet. You have no ropes. Nobody's been up here before, and you get to be this almost insurmountable barrier. How are you going to get there? Well, sometimes that's what we can think about with our purpose. We need to understand it's not going to be easy, but here in this module, we're going to learn how to pinpoint our peak purpose. And that starts with this idea of trying to reduce your purpose to 8 words. Now, I know that's very hard. It can take months, years, but it's a challenge that I'm going to throw down in front of everybody to create a purpose statement that is 8 words or less. And I'll share mine with you. And it took me over 2 years to get to this. It is to optimize vitality one person at a time. There are many variations of this that I went through, lots of different crazy ideas. But now this has become my North Star. This is why I am doing this work with Dare to Be Vital in this course, in this specific module about how to pinpoint your peak purpose. My hope is that even one person listening to this, watching this, or studying this will have their vitality enhanced, and that will lead to me fulfilling my mission or my purpose statement. And remember, this is just one of many things that are connected to your vitality, or what we call the vitality blueprint. Others include, optimizing your time, your sleep, your closeness with others, doubling down on discipline, optimizing your fitness or stockpiling health, which we'll talk about in a future module, and cultivating or sparking hope, and obviously serving other people. So this has been the introduction to the Pinpoint Your Peak Purpose module of the Dare to Be Vital course. Thank you very much for listening.